No one is safe in Foxborough. Just ask Jamie Collins, whose name blew up on Twitter on Monday. All of us were shocked when the Pro Bowl linebacker, who had 10 forced fumbles since 2013, he got dealt in the middle of the season, mind you, to the Browns. In the wake of this, the question is, Brady, could this happen to you?
You can't be around this long and not realize that, you know, the world will keep spinning and the sun will come up tomorrow without you. That's just the way it goes. And I think you enjoy just the experiences that you have, and then also understand, like, it just keeps going on. So it could happen to anybody. You just have to, just show up to work, do the best you can do every day, and let your performance try to just speak for itself.
Antonio Pierce is here with us in the world spinning, my friend. How
Yes, it is. It is spinning. It's another day. It's
right.
Thursday, right? So it's still spinning.
Yes,
what's going on?
It is.
What's going on, baby? How
What's
we doing?
going on, AP?
Good, good.
What's up, baby?
Good to see you. Let's get
Giant
into
Super
it.
Bowl champion. Sorry.
Let's talk about some championship World Series, right?
How will the Brady era end in New England?
I think it's different than what we've seen with other star players out of New England. This is a different guy. This is a guy who now for a decade plus has owned the division, has won multiple Super Bowls, who I think will go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And to me, I don't think that you make that move. And I know they had this issue, not them, but the San Francisco 49ers, when they had Joe Montana and Steve Young, you had to make a decision. Well, there's not another guy on that roster that's going to make you even think about trading or getting rid of a Tom Brady before he decides to retire on his own. And I think a guy who's come in the way he's come through the league, that chip, that fire, that's burning the wood and the emotion of him, that's never going to die out. And I don't think you're going to see a downward year for Tom Brady, for the Patriots to make that move. And I think when Belichick leaves is when Tom Brady leaves. I think that's when the era ends, not through trade or through a release.
I used to argue about this with Marcellus Wiley on Sports Nation when Peyton Manning was in the middle of his 55 touchdown, incredible. The last time a guy looked as good as Brady looks right now was Peyton. And I know he had an injury but before that he was very healthy and he looked great. And Marcellus thought he could go on and on and on. I'm like, look, I looked it up. No quarterback has ever, you could argue maybe Warren Moon, but even then, been elite at the age of 41. None of them. And they all fall off a cliff, meaning, I'm very specific when I use the metaphor of a cliff. There's not like gradual decline and eventually, it's like they're at such high altitude because they know so much about the game at that point. They're still playing. They're probably with a coach who knows what he's doing. They got a system. And there's no warning signs except for the age, that number, and then right off the cliff. So I have to assume, like every other person who ever lived in the history of the known universe, that will be the same for Tom Brady. The question is, what happens then? Does he wind up in another uniform, as Peyton did, even before he fell off the cliff, as Favre did, as Joe Montana did, you mentioned, Joe Namath did, like all these guys wound up in other uniforms? Or does he feel at a certain point, look, if I'm just another guy, I don't want to keep playing? Because if he feels that way, eventually he will retire a Patriot. And if he says, you know what, I want to keep going, he won't. This is the history of this league.
Stephen A.?
Well, the thing that amazes me about Max is that I happen to know that this man watches games. But he just, and with those eyes, that's why I tease him and call him Beetlejuice. With those eyes, okay, with those eyes, and knowing he watches the games, he said, don't worry, you look good, brother. You certainly look better than me. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. With those eyes, those beady eyes of yours, knowing you watch the games, it's amazing how much you just lean on numbers. I mean, I don't even understand why you aren't a mathematician as a profession. It's like you don't even care. You're going to come to us. And Antonio Pierce is a Super Bowl champion. He is sitting right in front of you. This man just said to you that Tom Brady is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks in history, okay?
I think he's the greatest. I think Brady's the greatest.
Hold on. Max, I'm getting to the point. Zip it. The point that I'm trying to make to you. The man has completed at least 63% of his passes every year since 2007. And according to Max Kellerman, AP, because Tom Brady is going to turn 40 in August, What we're going to see, we're not going to see something gradual. He's just going to show up one day, bam, it's over.
That's precisely what I'm saying.
Now, Antonio, let me be clear. Let me be clear. Max isn't talking about injury. He isn't talking about any of that stuff.
It might be an injury.
To me, that's the only way.
No. We debated that, Max. We ain't got time for that right now. Max is saying because the man's birth certificate hits 40, it doesn't matter what you're seeing, Antonio. It does not matter what I'm seeing.
Sometime
We're
before
just
he's
gonna wake up
41,
one week.
here comes the cliff.
Hold on. We're just going to wake up one day, AP, and Tom Brady's going to go from passing for 4,000 yards to suddenly looking like, like just some average quarterback.
Just as
like
Peyton Manning and Brett Favre did. And I had these same arguments with people
what
all the time.
about your
Favre
eyes?
can keep going
Don't
forever.
give me numbers.
Peyton
What
can
about
keep
your
going.
eyes?
My eyes told me Favre was still throwing the ball down the field when he was 40.
What about your
so was
eyes,
Peyton.
Max?
I think the difference.
What about your eyes?
Brady
what about
looks,
your
I will
eyes?
tell you.
Don't
Brady,
give me numbers. What about you?
Can I tell you? Brady looks now like Peyton did early in the season when he threw the 39 touchdowns before he got hurt late in the season, or that 55 touchdown season. He
looked
like he could do it forever.
surgeries.
Yeah, I'll say the biggest difference.
Eyes.
I'll say the biggest difference between those quarterbacks that you mentioned, Favre and Joe Montana and Peyton Manning, they had significant injuries throughout their career. Tom Brady, for the most part, has been a healthy quarterback other than that.
Thank you.
Favre was the Iron Man.
He was Iron Man for a lot of different reasons, but he got beat up. He got beat up a lot. Tom Brady does not take the hits. He doesn't take the wear and tear throughout his thing. And I think when you look at the personnel and the coaching staff and the environment and the type of guys that he has around him in New England, he's going to play at a high level for as long as he wants to, as long as Belichick is there. I don't see, to me, this guy is one or two more Super Bowls away from being by far, no questions asked, the best quarterback ever.
I think he's already there. See, people get it twisted. They think you're saying something that I think is negative about Brady, you're anti-Brady. Or you're saying something I think is positive about Brady, you're pro-Brady. I'm saying both. He is already, clearly to me, the greatest quarterback who ever lived. And, like everyone else who ever lived, he will fall off the cliff before he's 41 years old. I don't think those two ideas are mutually exclusive.
Let me say one thing, though. I don't think that
You're always, hold on, Molly. That's the problem. You're always saying both. Here's what I'm focused on. Since you won't get focused, I'm going to make you focus. You're saying Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff. That all because he's turning 40 next August, that everything that we're seeing Tom Brady is going to disappear like that.
The eye test is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Molly, AP, this is what Max left out telling you. Not only did he say Brady's going to fall off a cliff, he said it's going to happen within the next 14 months.
Well, it was 18 months when I said it, and it likely.
Yeah, 18 months
sometime
we said it,
before
now
he's
it's 14.
41. Probably got 40 years.
That's what he's
6 months.
saying.
August 2017, the world's going to end for Tom Brady.
By the way, this is another thing. This is another thing I've heard. This is another thing I've heard. First of all,
Max, can you tell him that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Could you admit to him that's what you're saying?
I don't know how else I could say yes. How many languages do you want me to say it in?
See.
14 months. Okay. He's just going to fall off a cliff.
That's correct. That's what's going to happen, just like it happened to everyone else. And yes, he's playing great, just as Peyton was. Exactly, Stephen A.
You know what, Max? Max, I got AP. You and Molly are my witness. Max, here's what I'm going to do for you, man.
I want to.
Let's get a calendar.
Yeah, you got to put the calendar
If Tom Brady falls off a cliff,
yeah.
If Tom Brady falls off a cliff, Max Kellerman, I will read Socrates or Shakespeare. I will go to an analytics class with you. Max,
this is what I want to say to you, Stephen A. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing out of New England. I get the following. I get, how dare you say he's going to fall off a cliff? You're crazy. He can do this forever. And simultaneously, I get, oh, duh, you're just saying he's going to get old one day. Everyone does. I think the point I'm making is very straight. No, I'm not saying you. The point I'm making is very straightforward. Everyone gets old eventually, including Tom Brady. I'm just putting a date to it based on the history of humankind. That's going to happen if you play the quarterback position before 41 years old. So I'm giving you a date. That's all. That's the only difference.
August 2017, you need to have that party.
Molly, Antonio, if Max Kellerman, if Tom Brady shows up after he turns 40 next August, I'm talking about 14 months from now, because he said it when it was 18 months. 14 months from now, if Tom Brady falls off a cliff, Max Kellerman, when you travel, I I will carry your bags in one hand and have a book on Socrates or Shakespeare in another, traveling with it. I'm telling you right now, I'm willing to do it, man.
Because 14
I'm willing
months,
to do it.
14 months, what are we in? We're in November.
Oh, my
right?
goodness.
So that's by the end of the following season, which is what I meant by the end of next season. Before that's going to be his age 40 season, going into his 41 season. That's it for the. And what I said is the same thing I said about Peyton Manning and Brett Favre, and Kobe Bryant and Derek Jeter. The guy you think you know now, take a good long look, because even if he's still playing, he ain't going to be the same. That's going to be it for this guy.
Stay on your toes, because you never know when this could happen. It could come at any time. We won't see signs prior.
That's right.
It's just
what's
when the date
Max's
hits.
definition of what's Max? By the way, for clarification purposes, while we're on this subject, for clarification purposes, Max, what's your definition? Like he goes from passing for 4,700 yards to passing for 4,500?
No.
What's the fall off?
Let's put it this way.
What's exactly the fall off?
We'll determine that another time, but we will do that. Let's put it this way.
Well, we need to, because if I'm willing to carry the bags and read Shakespeare, we need to.
No doubt.
Like
Peyton Manning just won a Super Bowl, right? And he won. He was the quarterback in the field. Was he an elite quarterback? Was that Peyton Manning? No and no. So it wasn't. I mean, so you can win a World Series.
55 touchdowns?
Sorry?
You talking about the 55 touchdowns?
Talking about Super Bowl year.
No. Super Bowl year. Peyton Manning last year.
No.
Peyton Manning, but he won a Super Bowl because he's on a team with a great defense and all that. But none of us would say he's elite. Tom Brady will be where Peyton Manning was, lucky to win a Super Bowl, lucky to be playing the way the Patriots operate, but he'll be where Peyton Manning was last year by the end of next year.
That'll do it. We good? Okay.
So Max has this season, the rest of this season, and next season as a safety zone. So after next season,
I
said 14 months.
We'll get the calendar.
Who else in sports punditry gives you the date?
We're gonna start tracking this bad boy. No, we appreciate that. You put a date to it. Antonio, we'll see you a little later in the show. Back for more fun with these two lovelies. Listen up, the First Take Your Take viewer contest is here. You could win a chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television. All you have to do is go to firsttakeyourtake.com, upload a 1-minute video with your best original sports debate. Keep it clean, plus no music, team logos, trademarks, or copyrighted material. 2 winners will be selected by our show staff, so get to work, people. I want to see you here in Bristol taking on these two. Here's a few of our latest submissions.
Mark my words. Russell Westbrook is going to attack Kevin Durant every second he gets come tomorrow. We're about to see if there is really indeed any bad blood between the two of them.
Russell Westbrook has every right not to shake KD's hand. If he wants to nudge him, if he wants to ignore him, whatever the case may be, he has that right. You don't break that brotherly love code. You don't go to your arch nemesis after you're up 3-1 and then you go jump the bandwagon.
For me, it's getting tiring. I think at the end of the day, Kevin Durant should stop. Just let his play speak for himself. It is what it is. And Russell Westbrook keep balling out.
What you got for me, gentlemen? Where we at with these folks?
The hairdo threw me off. I rock rough and stuff with my Afro puffs. Rage. Remember that, Max? Rock on with your bad self.
Yes, I do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, I get the Afro look. It's all right, it's a little different. But the first dude talking about Russell Westbrook was going to be in attack mode most of the night. I liked him. He was good. He delivered a little bit. But again, they still got to up it. Some of the contestants out there have to look at some of the stuff that's sent in and try to, you know, excel above that. And I don't see people doing that as of yet.
There's nothing wrong with what we just saw. It was they had good, blunt, straightforward delivery. That's good. That's better than some. But the analysis, the content, what did you tell me that I didn't already know? You know, it was fine. It's not enough to have nothing wrong with it. You got to have stuff right. There was some stuff right with that, too. It was fine. It was fine.
All right, let's leave it there.